Welcome back to Working on a Title, the podcast. This is episode 36, and we're here with a special guest, Hannah Ruth. Say hello, Hannah.
Hi, it's me. I don't know what you're talking about. My name is Carson Custer. It's me,
Oh,
Carson
yeah, it's
Custer,
Carson
the
Custer.
regular.
Nothing different. My
It's
name is
me,
Michael
Carson
Douglas,
Custer, the regular host.
the regular, normal host. So today, Carson was preoccupied. We just finished finals. Finals week was last week. I managed to pull up a grade from an F to a C in a matter of 2 days, and I'm pretty proud of that. Shout out to my little sister who helped me with Python programming. Um, so yeah, that was real fun. As you can see, HR's camera is not super great, but her audio is fine, so it doesn't matter if her video is great because no one watches the podcast anyway. Shout out to our podcast, Working on a Title. We're on every
You
streaming
can't
platform and on YouTube too. So if you want to check it out there, if you want to see our beautiful faces, you can check it out on YouTube.
you can't shout out your own podcast on your podcast. That's
I
not going to
literally
work.
can. I literally can. I just
Yeah, but
did.
how do you think you're going to gain audience? Like someone's listening to the podcast and they're like, "Hey, this podcast is pretty cool. I should listen to this podcast."
We gain
Come on
audience
now.
on. It's like when people who, when you're watching a YouTube video and you go, "Hey, why don't you sub to the YouTube?" It increases like viewership and subscriber count. But yeah, today we have HR here. She's talked about frequently on the podcast just due to the impact she has on my life and Carson's life, which is pretty significant. But she doesn't think so because she is dumb. Um, so HR, today I want to roast you a little bit as I'm
I
feeding my cat
swear
a
to
piece of egg.
God. Cat,
Little
don't
baby.
stop. Leave her alone.
Um, but so today, HR, you were talking about.
Hmm.
Are you okay with talking about this?
Fine. It's whatever. It's too
Okay.
late now. No, it's okay. It's fine.
today, HR, you're talking about self worth, which is a concept that is not talked about a ton because it's more like with self confidence and self esteem. Um, which Nora said that she finds those to be synonyms, but I don't, because I believe self worth and self esteem are two completely different subjects. Um,
I think for some people they are the same. Like for Nora and I, they are very much. I won't speak for her. For me, they are the same thing because my self-esteem is tied to how highly I value myself. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like the reason it's not talked about a lot is because it's simply assumed that everybody like ties their self-worth to how much they are able to contribute because we live and have been raised in a society that is founded on capitalism and requires workers to function correctly. Not only requires workers but requires workers who really want to do a good job. And so like I think that's part of why we don't talk about self-worth is it's this thing that it's just kind of like, yeah, well, you're worth how much you can contribute because that's what you are worth to the society that we live in. Because we live in a society.
we live in a society. Yeah, I agree.
We
We're
live in a
raised in
society.
the society where work and work ethic and things you've achieved is valued over everything else, no matter what. Um, I'm gonna reference my main man Robin Williams. He's always valued for his work in comedy and everything, but no one like ever asked if he was okay. Um, so there's just like misconception that just because you've achieved things you've wanted to achieve, that makes you happy, and that makes you worth like living. But that's just a objectively flawed way of thinking. And someone who thinks that way is you, HR.
What? Oh my goodness. How did you know?
Yeah, but it's really okay. So I'm not going to say I don't understand because I was also raised that way, where objectively like doing more work means you're better. Um, and I used to believe that until I almost failed out of high school. And then I was like, oh, nothing actually matters. I'm very existential. I'm very existential and very pessimistic. So like nothing actually matters. It's like that Linkin Park song. Like in the end, it doesn't even matter. Like nothing matters on this earth, no matter
You're
how much
so
of an impact you
emo.
think. I know I'm so emo, but like that for me brings me so much comfort rather than being like everything I do is so important all the time, always.
I feel kind of, I don't know, I feel kind of similarly about like religion. Like when I was like younger and I was like, wait, maybe God's like fake. Also, not hating on religion. I am not a big fan of it, but I'm not going to be mean to anyone. But for me, it was just like that moment I was like, oh, and I felt so much better because I was like, oh, the pressure is off. Because when you're raised within the Christian faith, there's this idea that you have like a predestined purpose and there's something that you are like supposed to do. And you're supposed to like live out this purpose correctly. And so that's, you know, really stressful when you're like 5 years old and you can sing well. And so all of the adults in your church are like, hey, you have a gift. God has great plans for you. That's like a lot of pressure. And so when I was like, maybe God's fake, I felt a lot better about that. However, I just like, I guess I just like, I don't know, I just transferred that to different things. Um, so yeah, now my self-worth is not based on how much I'm fulfilling God's plan, but rather, I don't even know, so many other things.
Yeah, I okay. Believe what you want to believe and everything like that. I don't really give a shit. But yeah, same thing with me. Stepping away from my religion is like with religion. I'm Catholic, and you're Christian or other
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, like non-denominational.
non-denominational Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But like being raised Catholic, there's always like this, like the end game is going to heaven. That's it. That's the reason why you live, and I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It
It's
didn't
so
sit
much
well for me.
harder with Catholicism. There's like, it's so much harder with Catholicism because they have like purgatory. So you have to like pray people in,
Yeah,
which is like, you know, which is based off of years of financial oppression and classism, but it's whatever. Um, but like, it's, I don't know, it's great. Yeah, Catholic guilt is like a famous thing.
yeah.
It's really funny.
It's heaven, limbo, and hell. That's the three options, and most people just go to limbo. But everyone wants
Yep.
to get into heaven, and a lot of Catholics I know don't believe in limbo, um, because it's
Mm-hmm.
inconvenient for them because it's not black and white choice. Like, uh, but yeah, I'm a believer in nothing, like literally nothing. And people say like that's a religion. It's not a religion. It's literally the lack of religion. Um, I do not believe in a higher power. I do not believe in any sort of heaven and hell or afterlife. And that brings me comfort, which is very strange to people because like they have comfort in getting into heaven and living in paradise or like nirvana, achieving enlightenment. Like that's their comfort. But it's like believing that they're living for something. But for me, I'd rather live for now, and I'd rather live for myself than um, believe in this afterlife and this better place that I could achieve if I am a good enough person. Like, no,
I think that's a part of the flaw with some like Christian ideologies too, because it's like no matter what good thing you do, always in the back of your mind, it's like if you do good things, you will go to heaven. So there's always the question of what is your ulterior motive there? Like, are you just being good because you want to go to heaven, or are you being a good person because you believe that you should be a good person? Which is, there's like, I don't know, there's like a priest I heard about years ago who was like they were like teaching, and one of their students was like, hey, if God made like everyone and everyone has a purpose, then why are atheists like a thing?
yeah, I heard
And
about
the
this.
priest basically was just like, oh, because Christian people need to see what real empathy looks like. Because if like a Christian does something nice for another person, it's like there's that ulterior motive that may or may not be there, and is like probably in some to some degree is present. But when a person who does not believe in any kind of afterlife does something for another person, it's just because they want to be nice to that person and because they care about them as a human being. um I don't know. I like that. That makes me happy. And that's what I use to defend myself anytime a Christian is talking to me and is like, but why don't you believe in God?
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to bring that same thing up. I really like that
I love it. It's
sentiment when
great.
defending specifically Christianity, because most other religions don't really give a shit. Um, but
That's
like,
true. Any person of any other religion, if I'm like, yeah, I'm an atheist, they're like, oh, sick, cool.
say that to a Christian, they're like, "Oh my god." I think I've talked about this before, but when I used to work at a coffee shop, there was this woman that came in, very frail old woman, about 5 foot, and I did my thing, like talking her up because I'm a great barista, and she was like, "Oh, what's your name, sweetie?" And I was like, "Michael." And she was like, "Are you religious, Michael?" And I was like, "No." and she was
You
like,
should have lied.
I should have. In hindsight, I should have lied. But she was like, "Do you know what Michael means?" And I was like,
Oh
"Yeah,
my
I was raised Catholic. It means like God or some shit, right?" Well, I didn't say some shit, or I said or
God.
something, right? She was like, "Yes, yes, it does." Um, and God always has a purpose for us in this world. I was like, "Mm-hmm." And then I helped her over to the coffee stand where all the cream and sugar is, and she was like, "Michael," and she put a hand on my shoulder, which I was very uncomfortable with. "Michael, we'll convert you back. We'll bring you back to Christianity one day." And I was like, "Okay." And I never
I
saw her again.
can't. Oh my God. I can't handle old people, especially Christianity is, as far as I know, is the only religion that trains people to convert other people. And
Yes.
I had a conversation. One of my closest friends is hold on, I don't know, I'm forgetting the word. Oh, practices like Hinduism. And she like at one point when she was like in college, when she was like in her first year of college, she was like, I made this friend and she's like super Christian. And it's like really sweet. Like she's always talking about her religion and like asking me to come to things with her. And it's like really sweet. Like, I don't think she's like trying to do anything on purpose. And I was like, because
No,
the
she's
things
trying.
that this girl was, yeah, the things that this girl was doing was like things that I was taught to do as a child to convert people. And that's like the thing is I had to have that talk and I was like, hey, hon, listen, I know that you do not think that this is intentional, but I need you to know that it absolutely is because I have been this girl and you are trained to do this. And this is exactly how.
Yeah. Hey, come to church with me and my family after you sleep over. It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or just like, hey, my church is having a fun like youth night. That's a thing that churches do to try and get like more people and convert more people.
Yeah, I brought my ex-girlfriend to a youth night, and it was
Yep,
very
there
weird.
you go. Wow, Michael.
I did it because my
Wow.
mom forced me. Okay, I have not been believing in God since 8th grade. So it's been a long run for me. Um, yeah, but yeah, I was always forced to do those like church
Mhm.
events.
Something else that Michael and I realized recently is that people who are religious actually like it.
Yeah,
I
whack.
I didn't know because I had never been into it. It was all a thing where I was like, oh, I guess I have to go do this. And like, I was talking to my parents about religion and I was like, I don't know. I think that the idea of a God who wants people to worship him is kind of weird. And my dad was like, well, I don't worship God for God. I worship him because it makes me happy. I was like, what?
Which
What?
is
It's
strange.
supposed to make you
That's strange to
happy?
me. Like,
Yeah,
imagine I
it's weird to
worshipped.
me too.
Imagine I worshipped Shaquille O'Neal, the NBA basketball player, the 7 foot giant. If I worship Shaquille O'Neal, people would be like, "Hey, that's weird," because he doesn't deserve that. And I'd be like, "I'm not worshiping him for him. I'm worshiping him for me." Like that is these bitches are simping over God. That's all that's
It's
happening.
true.
They just simp over
Christians
God.
are just God simps.
God simps.
But
Worshiper? No.
they even
Simp.
they even give him money for his OnlyFans. That's what that's,
To get into heaven, you got to give him
that's
money.
that's what tithing is. Ah, oh my god. If hell were real, we would go there.
I don't believe in hell, so
Anyway, I don't either.
I'm not going anywhere.
But
That's
I don't know.
that's also a thing. Christians are like, this is a very Christian heavy podcast. If you're a Christian, I'm sorry, but objectively, your religion's kind of mean, um, and
hmm
counterintuitive.
Well,
Uh,
I feel like okay, like that's a thing that people would be like, no, you don't understand because that's not what it's really about. Yeah, that's not what it's really about. However, Christianity has like a really bad reputation for being the main religion that is constantly misinterpreted.
yep.
Like there are so many different sects of Christianity, more than there are of like any religion pretty much. I think, again, I don't know, I don't know that much about religion, but like there's like a bunch of different versions of the Bible. Also, Christianity is like what is the religion that was most popularly used to colonize and like murder people and things like that and erase other people's cultures. It was the one that's most commonly and most popularly used for that purpose, and it was under the guise of like, oh, we're helping these people, when it was really like, no, you're not helping these people because you think that they are lesser than you. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, at its core, Christianity is like, whatever. Jesus was a cool guy. However, it is constantly used as a tool of oppression. And that is the problem. And so, having said that, because I don't want to hear any Christians who are like, no, but you don't understand, because both of us do understand, because both of us grew up learning about this, especially me. My father is a pastor. So I know a lot about Christianity, and I
Yep.
understand what the purpose is, but it is used as a tool of oppression, and that is the point. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. I don't remember what we're saying, but like the only other religion that kind of like hates on people who don't practice it is radical Islam. I'm not saying Islam as a
Mm-hmm.
whole. I'm saying the most radical,
Radical.
who are like the infidels should die, which means the non-believers should die. Like, and they don't try to spread it; they just try to kill everyone who doesn't believe in it, which is very different to Christianity. Christianity is like a parasite. It's like lice. Christianity is like lice.
Can't
It
say
just
that.
tries to spread as much as possible, and then
It's
eventually
true.
it'll reach um I don't know what the word is called, population density, something,
I think
whatever it's
that's
called,
probably, yeah.
population something, where there's not enough people to believe in God. But like there's this book I read in ninth grade, like called like Things Fall Down or some shit like that, about this. Did we lose HR? No, we're good. About this African colony, and like these two Christian ministers come and spread religion, and they pick up on it. Like the village is just like, okay, like they just ditched all their previous beliefs, and they're just. And I don't understand. I don't like. I'm not a religious person, and I don't hold a lot of sentiment towards anything. Um, but but if you've been practicing this religion your whole life, and some white dude comes along and it's like, hey, you want to try this other one? And then everyone just goes, okay, except one dude, and that guy somehow dies. That's kind of sus. Kind of sus. Kind of
Here's
sus.
the thing, is like part of the reason that that will often happen is because missionaries go in with like aid. Like
Yeah.
most people don't just go in and they're like, hey, you should believe in Jesus now. They're like, hey, you should believe in Jesus. Also, here's some water and clothing that you desperately need. You should believe in Jesus, by the way. It's very easy to believe in this idea of a benevolent God and a hereafter, and to abandon your previous beliefs when you are like when you are like approached and are like, hey, here's some nice things. When you are approached by benevolent people who are being nice to you for seemingly no reason, it's easy to be like, yeah, okay, this makes sense to me. And like, it's just, I don't know, there's a lot of like subconscious manipulation within the church and within the idea of like missionaries. Like missionaries are basically just modern day colonizers,
Yep.
because what they do is they go in and they take away aspects of these people's cultures that are like, oh, satanic, or that's evil, or that's like a sin because it's not God, it's not the right one. They take away these like parts of these people's cultures, and they like replace them with Christianity, and the way that they do that is by giving these people like aid. It's colonization, just nicer.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I have a problem with missionaries, because it's like, hey, if you really love God, how about you just go in and help people and don't try to convert them, and don't build a church, just build a school, maybe. It makes me uncomfortable, because like, I don't know, there's a lot of there Christianity is very Eurocentric, which is ironic considering that it is Middle Eastern in origin. But
Yep.
anyway,
Well, most practicing Christians are now Roman Catholic. Like, it's the biggest group.
that's true. Yeah,
What was I gonna say? But like Mormonism, Mormonism is Christian, right? That's technically.
Mormonism is Christian, but they're different because they have an extra book.
Yeah,
They
they have
started
the one
when,
where Jesus came down in Pennsylvania somewhere.
yeah, something like that.
But like one of my old friends, in high school was a Mormon, and that religion is very fucking weird, very fucking weird. It's like Jehovah's Witness, but like Jehovah's Witness light. Um, but a thing he had to do for his church was to not go to college out of school, but go on a mission trip for
Yeah,
2 years
go on the mission. Mm-hmm.
with no
Yeah.
electronic contact other than one email a week, or like one look at your
Also,
email a week.
they also can't choose where they go, I believe. They just
they
like
can't.
they're literally, their church is just like, you're gonna go here and have to, and that's it. And that's all there is to it.
He was really lucky. He got sent to Santa Barbara, California.
Wow.
Which is crazy. It was a.
How's he doing?
I talked to him like one time, but he was fine.
2 years ago, you should check in.
Yeah, no, he was more friends with my other friends, but he like got a nice tan, and still the same person. He just was without contact with the outside world for 2 years. What the fuck?
Because Mormonism is like, Mormonism is not a sect for Christianity that I have any respect for. And the reason why is because it is a dangerous group. It is not, it's not safe. It is a cult. It is by definition a cult. And the practices within Mormonism are not okay. They're objectively like bad things, like the objectification of women, like the reducing of women to like, oh, you are one wife of this person. And that's not even like, and there are some practicing Mormons who don't do that part, but it doesn't matter, because that is a part of the religion. That is a part of it.
Illegal, I think.
It depends on the.
Yeah, the polyamory of like multiple wives is illegal in the whole United States. You can't be married to more than one person.
Yeah, and listen, as a person who is polyamorous, this might sound hypocritical, but the difference between this is that in Mormonism, it's like one guy, lots of wives. There's also the idea that in the Mormon afterlife, if you are a man and you are successful, you will be given your own planet with a bunch of virgins. That's gross, dude. That's gross.
That
That's
just
not
seems
okay.
inconvenient.
Mormonism is nothing more than a cult. It is nothing more. Additionally, the Mormon religion has, out of all of the different faiths, committed some of the most egregious crimes against the LGBTQ plus community. Like, absolutely disgusting. And so I have no respect for Mormonism, because it's not a religion, it's just a cult. It's just a cult. That's all it is. And that's why they cut off your communication when you go on your mission, because they don't want people back home being like, hey, I'm worried about you. This seems like a bad idea. And the thing that you're in seems like a cult. That's like very classic cult behavior, is cutting people off.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's like I said, it was Jehovah's Witness light, which is Jehovah's Witness is not Christianity. I don't think
I think it is. I think it's a sect of Christianity. I would look that up. But I do know that they don't take blood transfusions, because there's one part of the Old Testament. Yeah. There's one part of the Old Testament that's like, hey, you're not supposed to drink the blood of an animal. And so they were like, blood transfusions?
Drinking.
That counts. that counts as taking in the blood of another living being. So
If you have a
that's
liver problem, you're fucked. You're fucked.
yeah, literally. If they have any medical problems, they just fucking die.
Yeah,
They
but
just
like
die.
the thing with Mormon churches that's also like Scientology actually is
Mm-hmm.
you cannot film the inside. You cannot take pictures of the inside. And it's like very it's a big crime in the Mormon church to take a picture of the inside of any of these temples. And
It's
it's
not a
whack.
religion. It's just a cult.
Yeah,
It's a
and
cult.
their main like biggest church is in like Ohio or some shit.
If any Mormons are listening, leave. Go away.
Help yourself, dog.
Like don't leave. Like leave church. Go. Get out, please.
But Jehovah's Witness is also a really fun religion where they don't believe in anything. I mean, they believe in everything, but they don't believe in doing anything, like being happy, because they believe that's for God.
Oh my God, that's right. They don't have holidays or birthdays or anything. They don't do shit.
No, they don't do literally anything. It's
That's
and if Jehovah's Witness comes to your door, you run. Like that's just the basis.
leave. That's very. I don't understand how like Jehovah's Witnesses read the Bible and were like, oh, so we shouldn't celebrate because there's so many biblical holidays, and also it's based in Christianity. When Jesus was born, when he was born, a bunch of people came to celebrate it. That at the very least is defense for celebrating Christmas, but also is defense for celebrating birthdays.
They don't
Like, come
believe
on, man.
that Jesus is a part of God.
Oh my God.
They
What?
believe that
makes more
okay,
sense.
so in
That's whack.
Christianity, it's God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. So Father, Son, and the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit. It's one entity. It's like a hive mind. It's one entity with three different parts. Jehovah's Witness believes that Jesus Christ is inferior to God, and the Holy Spirit is not a person, but a force that is God, like a force of God.
Well, that's normally what the Holy Spirit is defined as anyway. But if they think that Jesus is like not God, that makes sense. But doesn't that also, do they think that's confusing? That's so confusing.
Yep.
God.
Jesus is inferior to
can't.
God.
Ridiculous. That's wild.
It's fucking
Religion's whack, man. I think we should start over. I think we should erase religion and start over.
Yeah, we should just get rid of religion and then just go
No more.
just like start anew. Religion 2, religion harder.
Religion Part 2. Religion, the sequel.
Religion 2,
I mean,
Electric
Hinduism
Boogaloo.
kind of has a sequel.
What?
Already has a sequel.
What's the sequel?
Oh, it's Buddhism. That's a
Oh,
bad joke,
I was
though.
gonna say Protestant.
No, what? Yeah, oh yeah, Protestant is the
Protestant is
sequel to, like,
Christianity too.
Catholicism. It is. Oh my God. All of the other religions need a sequel. All religions need a sequel.
You know what's fucking crazy?
Hmm.
Catholics have a fucking city. We own a city. We own a
I
country.
know, that's crazy. Stop saying we like you're Catholic, Michael. You're gonna confuse the viewers.
We as Catholics, we as white Catholic men, we own a fucking city.
Guys,
we own
in
a
case you
country.
didn't know, Michael's white.
Like, there's no other place that's like
Oh my God.
the Buddhist city, or the Buddhist country, or like there's no specifically titled Buddhist country. But there's the Vatican City, which is
Yeah, also
go for it.
the leader of the Catholic Church is like revered nationally, like internationally. Everyone's like, oh, he's an important figure, which is very strange because he's picked by like 7 religious figures. There's like just a small group of white people, of men also, like a small group of men get together and pick a guy.
It's Cardinals. Yeah, the Cardinals.
And then that guy has a bunch of power. Yeah, it's weird.
They
it's
sit
whack, dude. And
the
it's
way they
weird that
say it
people
is
have
they sit and
respect for him.
pray for like for as long as they need to pick a new pope, and then they
Mhm.
burn something and it turns the smoke black or whatever,
Yeah.
and that means they picked one.
Hmm.
And like,
Yeah.
go off, but like, what the fuck are you just in your head like, well, there's this guy. I think he's okay. I don't think he's touched any children. Um, but
No.
like, you're sitting there. It's like, are they sitting in silent? Like, no one knows what happens in there, so they could just be playing like fucking poker with like,
That'd be really funny.
or like darts with the pictures of the popes up on the wall. Like, what about this guy, Francis? I like his name, Francis.
No, the popes pick a new name normally when they
Oh yeah,
become
they
the pope.
do.
Uh-huh.
This guy, Roger.
I
We
think
can't keep
it's
Roger.
we gotta change.
We got it. We
I think
John's pretty cool.
I think it's a weird practice in general. But I think that a lot of religious practices are strange and they weird me out. But that's like fine, whatever makes you happy. I do think it's strange though that he is internationally revered by like government officials.
Yeah,
That's something that makes me uncomfortable because I believe that freedom of religion is important. And in order to maintain freedom of religion, the government needs to abstain from religion as much as possible. And so I really think that government entities shouldn't act with reverence towards one religion more than another, but that's what they do. Because like there is, okay, like with Hinduism, they have somebody who is like considered like sort of like a pope, who is like kind of the leader of the religion, the
yeah.
way
I was
that
about to
my
talk
friend
about
who is,
the Dalai Lama.
yeah.
That guy's cool.
No,
Wait, no, wait.
that's
What'd you
different.
say?
That's a different thing. That's an entirely different thing. I
Oh,
think that might be Buddhism,
yeah,
but
that's
literally
Buddhism. What is
like
it? Hinduism?
the Hindu, yes, the
Yeah,
Hindu
I was wrong.
faith has its own like has its own, like the way that my friend always described it is like basically the Pope, but for Hinduism. They have that, and that person is not revered by government officials because that's not a religion that like that's not a religion that colonized everybody and took over the whole world, so it's not as widespread.
Yeah, the
I
Santan
just
Dharam. That's the name of the Pope of
Yeah.
Hinduism.
That's part of why I don't feel like anything is like, I don't know, when people are just like, I just like have always believed, like when people are raised within Christianity and then like always believe it, it's like, yeah, fine, go off. But when they're like, it's supposed to be like this. Like when they say it's supposed to be like that, it's like, no, dog, because if you had been born in India, you probably wouldn't be a Christian. It's less likely that you
Yeah.
would be. It's like that's just how it is, which is how I feel about, I don't know, the idea of like soulmates. I think that's stupid. I think that there are many
I also
people
think that is very stupid.
I think there are many people that you can be compatible with, and the idea that there is one perfect person in a world that has billions of people is crazy. Because true, no one would ever find a person. It would be so ridiculously rare to find a person. I also don't I think that there are many people that you could be compatible with. It just matters who you meet.
Christianity
We're really
is now the top religious group. That was different before. I remember it a couple years ago not being Christianity as the top religious group.
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm on Wikipedia right now. So
I feel like I think it used to be Catholicism, and now it's not Catholicism. Like it used to be just Catholicism, and then recently became not just Catholicism, just like a
just
conglomerate
Christianity.
of other ones.
Yeah, Christianity takes up 31.4% of people, which is about 2.168 billion people. Which is
Still,
strange.
though.
Well, we're missing out on we as Christians are missing out on a very good population over in China because
Oh my god.
they don't believe in any religion, which is cool. I kind of like that. Fuck China. Fuck
Yeah,
China. Fuck the
but
CCP. But
yeah,
they have
there
a
we go.
mandated non-religion policy like for the whole country. And like
Which
there's a
is
lot of
bad.
religious groups being kind of like prosecuted there, which is really
Mhm.
fucked.
Persecuted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of cool though. Like that's one of the
No.
first. That's one of the first places that separates church and state, which is
But
like
it
good.
doesn't separate
That's
church and state. It doesn't.
But does it though?
It chooses Well, that's the idea. That's the thing, because the lack of religion is not a religion. It is still a religious identity, though. And they are still aligning with that religious identity as a country. Like, that's just, I don't know. That's just this the problem with it.
Yeah. But there's such a fucking shitty thing. It's such a really like just terrible thing.
There's also
in our
current
U.S. politics,
current
that's church and state. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
currently China has like Muslims in country concentration camps.
Yeah.
And they've been doing this for years, and they have a bunch of these camps, and everyone is like so upset that the United States doesn't care, and they're like, we said never again after the Holocaust, it's happening again. And it's like, listen, buddy, I don't know why you're surprised. We only got involved in World War II because somebody came at us first. We didn't give a shit before. Many of the Jewish people who died in the Holocaust, it's directly America's fault because we refused to take them when they were running away. So it's like, yeah, obviously it's awful that people do not care enough about this, but it shouldn't be surprising. This is a problem with a country that promotes blind nationalism, which is oftentimes what America does, is just this idea of like, our country is good and our country is the best country in the world. It's like, no, that's not true. Our country might have some things that it's like, yeah, that's a pretty good feature, like being able to vote is good and freedom of religion is very important. However, we are far from infallible, and we continue to do terrible, terrible things as a country, including ignoring the civil rights violations that are currently taking place in China.
Yeah. I love when people. So I used to be one of those kids that like jerked off World War II, because it was so cool and everything. And I played Call of Duty, but like when kids like talk to me about World War II, and they're like, we saved the planet, we saved every country's government, and then I just go, well, we didn't get involved until about halfway through when we were attacked, so we didn't save anybody. We were just like, it's like if you were in a fist fight versus a kid 6 foot tall. I'm 5'6", a kid 6 foot tall and like 300 pounds, and he was beating your ass, and he accidentally hits the kid that's 7 feet tall and like 450 pounds. That's what happened. They were getting their ass beat, and then we were just like, hey, that was not nice, and then fucking decked them for the next 3 years. Like that's essentially what World War II was.
It's true. And then the way that it's always the narrative we are always fed is this idea that like, oh, we stand because the European countries couldn't handle it. It's like, oh, we're so special because we're a military state. We're so special because the majority of our funding goes to the military and not to, I don't know, human aid or anything like that. That doesn't make us better than them. It's also very victim blaming to be like, you stupid idiots getting attacked. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you just not get attacked, stupid? Yeah. Like, what?
Like, I understand that we're a very big country, and so we have a very high GDP, and that we put more money towards our army than the next 25 countries combined. But no, that's it. But like, yeah, we're a fucking militant state, but we're a militant state in a time of peace. Like, what the I mean, technically we're at war right now, for no reason. I mean, kind of a reason, but like for no reason. We always get into these fucking kerfuffles that are like that. So we got involved in World War II due to
Japan attacking us.
And then we tried to stop the spread of Nazism throughout Europe. We got involved in the Cold War for trying to stop the spread of communism. And the same with Vietnam. I don't know why we went to Korea, but yeah, Vietnam. We tried to stop the spread of communism. We lost that war, by the way.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we lost. Saigon is now called Ho Chi Minh City. Yeah. I think that's the right word.
It is. I believe you're correct. It is a pointless war that we sunk thousands of dollars and lives into and that we lost. And also in the process of that war, because we used so many experimental chemicals and things like that, we have like infected generations of people in Vietnam with like radiation and things like that. There's generational health problems that are left there. It's the same in Japan, in a lot of places in Japan, because bombed Japan. And it's also like there's also a bunch of like children that were left behind in Vietnam that American soldiers like impregnated Vietnamese women. And so now there were at least like these biracial children that like a bunch of people thought were a sin and were trying to eradicate. We did so many bad things for like no reason. And
Vietnam was really not great for us.
no,
We should have never went, but
we should not have went. And that's what the hippies were saying. But no one listened.
no one listened.
Nobody listened.
They smoke weed, so they must not know what they're talking about.
And they must be stupid.
Okay. I am okay with our use of nuclear weapons on Japan. And that's a hot take.
Yeah, I'm not at all. I think that it's dumb. I think it's stupid.
I think we'd have lost more lives on both sides if we kept fighting than trying to end it right then and there. Because there's a pretty cute HBO series called The Pacific, which kind of like goes into this. But the reason we dropped the nukes is because without the nukes, we have had to go from island to island to island to island to island to island to wipe out the Japanese troops on each one of these islands, and like slowly make our way towards Japan, which would have cost time, money, lives, and everything in between. So we were just like, I think we sent pamphlets over. Hiroshima was first, right? Yeah, I think Hiroshima was first. We sent pamphlets over Hiroshima, being like, surrender or we're gonna drop a nuke on you, and they were like, no, and then we dropped a nuke on them, and then we were like, we gave them 3 days to respond, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna do it again, and then we did, and they were like, okay, fine, tap out. But like the nuclear spread and the cause of generations was not worth it. If we would have had refined these weapons more, maybe we could have lessened the generational damage. But at the time, it was the best option for not only us but the world. And then we as Americans were just like, let's help you. And so now Japan is was one of the fastest growing technology empires in the world. I'm not saying it's a good thing that we drop bombs on them, but it kind of helped them out a little bit.
Stop. Don't. No. That's another narrative that I have a problem with, because that's what they'll always tell you in school. They're like, yeah, we dropped these bombs because we absolutely had to. And then we made their country even better because of capitalism.
No,
that's literally like that's the way that it's described.
It's really bad. We like Americans did help a lot with like the rebuilding effort, because like that's kind of a shitty thing to do, to just bomb someone and just kind of leave them. Because like that's like kicking them while
which is what happened in World War I, which is what led to World War II.
Yeah. But yeah, so we did help, but I do not believe that the United States is directly responsible for the economic rise of Japan. That's all on Japan and their people, which are great people who are also religious. They believe in Buddhism and Shintoism, which Shinto is like the indigenous religion, and Buddhism is the Buddhism.
Wow.
Buddhism was spread by the Chinese. Isn't that fucking whack? And now they hate Buddhists.
They were like, actually, not a fan of this anymore.
Actually, like, not really feeling it today. How about I just like declare a widespread ban on a religion? I think that'd be fun. Do you think that'd be fun?
I'm actually gonna like. I think. Do you think? I think it'd be fun.
I'm gonna just like prosecute
God,
this
Michael.
religion area. I think that'll be
Michael,
so fun.
We've spent this entire podcast just like shitting on religion.
Yep. I'm gonna put a disclaimer.
And America.
And America.
God, yeah, you're gonna have to.
Yeah, we live in we hate American religion. We live in a society.
This began with us talking about self-worth.
Yeah, that was what I wanted to talk about this whole time. Was self-worth and your lack of self-worth. We got about 20 minutes. Let's have a little therapy.
Yeah, we got
so HR, what brings you in today?
Well, this is not how therapy goes, Michael.
Well, this is dollar store therapy, so
Oh, okay. This is cheap therapy where you just talk to your friend.
Yeah.
So like Brad is just like not like what I want him to be, you know?
We keep telling you to break up with him.
But like I love him.
Oh, but self-worth is an interesting thing.
Yeah, throwing back to the beginning, self-worth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said earlier, for some people, self-esteem and self-worth are tied together. And I just very recently realized that it's not like that for some people, which is whack to me. But I don't like myself, which is surprising to many people because I come off as being very confident, and additionally, I never shut the fuck up. So you would think that I'm full of myself, but actually, I can't stand myself. I hate myself so much. I told my mom about that, and she was like, honey, I think it's a spiritual thing. And I was like, no, Mom, I think I'm just mentally disabled and also deeply traumatized. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
You have two demons inside of you, okay? One of them...
One is manic. The other is depressed. You are bipolar.
You have two wolves inside you. One of them is hungry.
Because I'm bipolar.
The other one's also hungry. You're starving.
You are hungry. But it's just, I don't know. It's very tricky. And so I amount my self-worth not even to, like, because some people amount it to what they can do. I don't even do that because I do not think that anything I do is ever good enough. I amount my self-worth to how much I am able to give to other people and how much I am able to help and benefit other people.
Which is fucking whack.
Which is bad because it means that I never take care of myself because I am existing for other people.
Yes.
Justify my own existence by taking care of other people because I feel like it can't be justified otherwise, which is, super dark, but it's fine.
And I'm on the end of, I don't believe in self-worth. I mean, I believe in self-worth, but I don't have any self-worth, nor do I need any self-worth because I'm so insignificant that it doesn't fucking matter. I'm at a point where, are you getting ready to leave?
No, I'm sorry.
You what?
I was trying to be.
But I'm at a point where, like, I don't need self-esteem or self-worth or outside validation. It's nice, but I don't need it to like keep myself going. And like, so hearing someone be like I base all my self-worth in the things I do is very fucking crazy to me. It's crazy.
Yeah, it feels a little, I don't know. It feels strange, honestly, to think that other people aren't like that. Because that's just the way that I was raised. That's the way that I am. It's kind of the way that my parents are, although not as bad. And it feels to me oftentimes I just feel like I'm being a good person. like, so it's very natural to me. I'm just like, oh well, I'm just being a good person, I'm just being nice, I'm just like helping this other people, I'm just doing what anyone would, like what any good person would do, is the way that I think of it. But in reality it's like, no, I'm just disregarding my own needs and my own wants to benefit other people.
Yeah. And like a thing I try to tell you and our other friends is to be selfish. Like it's okay to be selfish, and you need to be selfish sometimes. That's how I got out of a toxic relationship, and that's how I like achieved to grow myself, is being selfish. Like I don't go to the gym and lift weights for other people. I lift weights because I like to pick up big heavy things. Like that's that's being selfish for myself, and like that may not look like that on the outside, but like having these small realizations that doing these things is being selfish, and being selfish is totally okay, is very nice, and like really opens up your world.
Yeah. I have also, something I've experienced is like, I am afraid of, I am afraid that if I like myself better, and if I do allow myself to be selfish occasionally in order to just take care of myself, I am afraid that if I do those things, then I will become like a bad person and I will just be self-centered and I won't care about other people anymore, because I already feel like I'm self-centered and the only thing holding me back from being a complete asshole is that I don't like myself very much.
Yeah, but you aren't. You're the most selfless person I know. So it's always very strange to be like, God, I'm so self-centered. I'm so narcissistic. Like, shut the fuck up. Who are you talking about? Like, you go and like feed
Good
homeless
about.
children, and then are like, oh my God, I'm such an asshole for doing that. I did that for myself only. Like, motherfucker.
Well, that's because it makes me feel like, it makes me feel good about myself when I help other people. And so every time I help someone else, I'm like, fuck, I feel better now. I'm not supposed to get anything out of this interaction. Now I'm being selfish.
So it's like it's a never-ending cycle for you of like,
Yes.
yeah, of
I have
wanting to feel good about yourself, so you help other people, and then you help other people, but then you feel bad about yourself, so you feel bad about yourself, you want to feel good about yourself, so you help other people. Just it's a
yeah.
constant loop.
Mhm. I don't know. I just kind of today had like a breaking point a little bit. Um this, which is why I've been having an existential crisis all day, because earlier today I was just checking my grades because grades were updated today. And I was looking at the website and I scrolled up to the top and I realized that it says that I am a junior, which, I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But also, it felt really weird because I was like, oh, that was really fast. And then I did the math and I realized that if I wanted to, I could graduate next year in spring of 2022. And I've only been at Chatham for a year and a half now.
Three
And that
semesters
felt
plus a summer
really,
semester.
yeah, that it felt really strange. And I was just like, oh, and then I've been confronted with this realization that, first of all, I have so much time to just slow the fuck down, because I could, if I wanted to, I could finish in a year and a half and I could be done. So that means that if I don't do that and I take the normal amount of time, I have so much time to spend. And also, it just felt very strange because I felt like I realized this and I felt just so like, not dead inside, but I felt like a part of me was like paralyzed because I was like, oh. And I guess I kind of realized that what I always do is I just like put my head down and I push through and I don't take care of myself. Um, because it makes me feel like a bad person when I do. But I don't know. I legitimately, I feel like I hit a breaking point. And I think it's a good thing, but it feels very strange because I've just been driving around all day and I was like, oh, so I'm going to finish in like a year and a half. Cool. And I wrote down all of the classes I would have to take and when I would have to take them. And then I was talking to my friends about it, and my friend Jasmine in particular was like, "That's fucking dumb. Don't do that."
Yeah.
And and then I just kind of decided, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to." And it was really weird because I've always had this great resistance to slowing down, to the point that like there's all these things that I want to do, and there's like all these classes that I want to take, and I'm like, I do this and I have to do it this semester, and it like physically pains me. Like I feel legitimate physical pain when I like drop classes or withdraw from classes, or when I take something off of my plate. And I literally, and I do not know what it was, but I just like that went away for some reason. I have no idea. But
Yeah.
I just was like, because like normally when I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, these are the classes I'm going to take, I do it, or at least I try. But I legitimately, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do it, to the point that I don't know, I'm going to drop some classes that I planned for next semester, because I have so many credits planned for next semester, like way too many.
Which makes me feel really good, because I've been telling you this for the last year and a half.
Shut the
It-
fuck up, I don't get it.
You
I
gotta
wanna hear it.
chill. It's like, I'm gonna use another analogy, but you, like, the difference between me and you, before you had this realization is we're at Golden Corral, which I think they went bankrupt, right?
I don't fucking know. I don't pay attention to Golden Corral.
It's a shit restaurant. But we went to Golden Corral, and we both saw this whole chicken. There's 2 whole chickens, and we were like, we need to eat this whole chicken. So I put a wing on my plate, and I ate that. But you put half the fucking chicken on your plate. And we're like, I gotta eat this in 10 minutes, and then I'll go back for more. Like, and
I'm
you
trying to
just
speed run. I'm trying
yeah.
to speed run everything.
You're just cramming as much as possible in, without any regard for how you're gonna feel afterwards or how you're gonna feel during. But like,
I think it just like, because I was like, oh fuck, I'm a junior and I could graduate next year. I realized that the end of college is so much closer, or it could have been so much closer. And I was like, fuck, shit, I don't, what? It just felt insane. And then I was like, fuck, that's gonna be over. And I've had such a good time, and I have so many things that I enjoy, and I have like all of my friends that I love so much, even though I have trouble saying it because I'm afraid of intimacy. But I like, I don't know. It was weird. I just broke, and I was like, I don't need, I don't know. For literally the first time in my life, I felt like it was okay to slow down. And I am still sitting in that feeling of realizing that it's okay to slow down. And it feels so fucking weird. I
Feels
hate
great.
it. I don't like it at all. It feels wrong.
You
It
could probably
feels
take
I'm
like,
being-
oh, maybe loser. You could probably take like 12 credits and be okay, which is the bare minimum.
I
You could probably
could.
take 12 credits for the
I
next
could take
3 semesters.
I could take 12 credits until I graduate, and I would probably be fine.
Which might
Like,
be
I'm
nice
not
for you.
gonna, but
Yeah, you could take
I
classes that seem fun to you.
crazy. My plan now is like, I don't know. I want to try, and I'm gonna like take all of the classes that I want to take. I've made a decision that I am not going to try to graduate early at all. I'm going to try and graduate in the spring of 2023. Partially because I need to stop pushing so hard, but also because I don't know. I feel like I have to. I feel like I should. I didn't go to my high school graduation because I felt like it wasn't an important accomplishment. I didn't have a graduation party for that because I felt like it wasn't an important accomplishment. And I feel like I need to step back and appreciate myself at all.
Yeah. It'd be really funny if
And for me, part of that is just taking more time, and also I would like to graduate with all my friends.
It'd be really funny if I graduated fall of 2022. Oh,
That'd be ridiculous.
that'd be really funny though. You
Mhm.
all would be so mad at me. I don't think we'd ever recoup from that. But I would be. It would be very funny.
I think it would be fine. I wouldn't be mad at you.
But like, I didn't tell anyone till like the day of.
Oh, that would be shitty. I'd be so pissed. I'd get over it, but I'd be like,
come
Michael,
home.
what the fuck?
I'd come home with a diploma, be like, "Hey guys, look at this."
Just, just holding a diploma. Oh my god.
Look at this. This is pretty cool. Look what I got today.
Hey guys, this is pretty neat.
Oh,
But
it'd be so funny.
no, I think I hit the fuck it point. I think I hit the point of fuck it.
Oh, it's such a good feeling.
It
Me and
feels
Jasmine
so
have been there for
weird.
years.
Yeah. And I can't, I don't know, it feels
Welcome.
wrong.
Welcome to
But
the club. It's
I'm
so
I feel like
so
it's gonna,
freeing.
and I know it's probably gonna go away because I'll probably have a nightmare about something tonight because I have chronic nightmares. I am a mess of a human being and I do not know how I've survived as long as I have, but here I am today.
It's so freeing. Hold on to that feeling as long as you can. It's so nice. Just to be like whatever. Just to be like some person goes, "Hey, you have homework tonight." And you just go, "Whatever, man." Like that's such a good feeling. It's really unproductive, but it's so nice.
I don't feel that as much as I just feel like
Or like
it's like
you got to
I
take
don't
42 credits next semester and be like, "I'm not doing that." It's so
there
good to say
it's
no.
it's like there was this very negative drive within me. Like there was the force that was driving me was negative. And I was like, well, I have to do this because I have to finish as fast as possible and I have to do this and I have to go. And then I was like, and then somehow, for some reason, I was just like, no, I don't. And I was like, oh, that worked. Okay.
Yeah, we love that. On that note, it's the end of the podcast.
Oh my god.
We're not gonna do a music roundup because HR does not listen to music. And I haven't been
I
listening to
have
anything
been listening
different.
to music.
Really? What kind?
I know. I don't even, well, first of all, it's Christmas time and I love Christmas music. So I've been listening to Christmas music. But there was this one Christmas song that I was like, wow, I really like this singer. I wonder what else she did. And now I really like that singer, but also she's been dead for like 30 years and she was famous from the 40s to 60s. And so I don't know if it's very relevant that I talk about her, but I love her dearly.
What's her name?
K Star.
K
Gotta love
Star.
her. Billie Holiday referred to her as the only white woman who could sing the blues, which is ironic because she was not white. She was biracial.
Love that. Yeah, I haven't been listening to that much different. Space Cadet by the Technicolors, and I'll Fall Into the Dark by Death Cab for Cutie. That song is a fucking heart ripper, man. But yeah, thank you for coming, HR, and thank you for listening, listeners. HR, do you have any social medias or anything like that?
Nah, son.
Nah. You can follow me at twitter.com/phaserj and twitch.tv/phaserj. I might stream soon. I don't know. I'll see how it is. But yeah. So I'll see you later. Bye-bye.